And so if you run me through a typical consultation, what would, if I booked you for my dog, what would I expect, to happen in that period of time? Is it a couple of hours, or does it take a morning or a day, or?
It's usually about 3 hours.
Right.
The first hour really is to sit down and talk about the background, and get a build up of a case history. So I'll go back from day one to whenever they got the dog, whether they got it from a puppy, whether they got it from a rescue home. We put all those factors into this case study. I'll go through the exercise routine that they're having. I'll go through the diet and nutrition that they're on, which can play a major part in what's going on behavioural wise. And then we'll go through, while all that's going on, I'm observing the dog's behaviour, observing the behaviour of the clients with their dogs. And then we go through the problems that they're having. So if it's, the dog's going mad at the front door when people call, I'll go and teach people how to deal with that. If they're having problems out on the walk, we'll go out on a walk. And whatever the problems are, I'll go and show them how the correct techniques and how to deal with it.
Right. So I know when I met you only a couple of weeks ago, we seem to have, although I'm more on the human side, human nutrition, it is very, very similar. I would say it's pretty much exactly the same, and I know some people are very sceptical when I tell them that, but it is true. An animal cell is an animal cell, and it's the same cells in us as there are in dogs. So I immediately struck a chord with what you were saying from the nutritional side of things, especially when you talk about the raw meaty bone diet that you advise to your clients. And it's something that I have a knowledge about from the human side, because a perfect diet for humans would be to eat everything raw.
Absolutely.
It's only when we start cooking things that our digestive system becomes impaired and we have problems in that respect. So what got you into the nutritional side? Was it from the animal psychology course that you did, or was it a separate aspect that you just decided to learn as well?
I was just noticing every case that called out to me, 98% of them were being fed a particular brand, and I started just seeing a pattern forming in my consultations.
Right.
And started linking this particular dog food that we were buying for our dogs to behavioural disorders. And the more I looked into the ingredients and started doing analysis on what they were putting into these dried foods and tin foods, realising that a lot of the ingredients that were being put in there had actually been banned in human food for things like ADHD, behavioural disorders, links to cancer. And I was absolutely shocked at what I was learning, the fact that they can put these foods or these ingredients into our dogs' foods and write on the packet, this is a complete healthy natural food, when in fact it's not. And then just through my study and research into it, I started talking to other people and started reading books on it, and just really delved in and wanted to know how diet was linking to these behaviours. And it occurred to me, 30 years ago, when we were feeding our dogs more of our food off our plate, or feeding them more meat and bones from the butchers. We didn't have these big, massive supermarkets, convenience food back sort of 30 years ago. There wasn't people like me. People didn't need dog behaviourists. There's a huge increase in disease in dogs now, and vets out there are very busy. And it's now become a costly thing to own a dog, because people are having to put into their budgets, their yearly budgets now, vet bills. And obviously pet insurance companies are making a fortune, because we know that our dogs are probably going to come up with some health issue, and it's going to cost us an absolute fortune. Dogs aren't on the NHS, and they cost us their health costs us far more than our own health does. So I wanted to really just try and see where the link was. And I came across Tom Lonsdale, who graduated in the Royal Veterinary College back in 1972, and he opened up a small vet's practice, and he again was starting to notice a pattern, and he was getting a horrendous amount of animals coming in with mouth rot, which was tooth decay, gums flaring up, just, you know, the whole sore mouth thing. And what he was finding through his scientific and medical background was that the toxins in the mouth rat actually have nowhere to go other than back into the body, and are causing all sorts of things with blood disease, heart disease, organ disease, joint disease, bone disease. You know, we've taken out the natural meat and marrowbone that dogs should be having in their diet, and we've, you know, the complete foods that are out there now are sort of over 50% of the ingredient is cereals, which is wheat, maize and gluten, which, as we know, doesn't do our health much good. It blocks the intestines up, it doesn't let you absorb any nutrients going through. And, you know, it was just shocking how on the pet labels on this food, some of the terms they used to actually hide the ingredients that they're putting in. They don't have to legally write down everything that's going in there. For instance, meat and animal derivatives is actually a term that's used for very low quality, low protein, the worst sort of cheapest meat that you can find on the market, straight off the abattoir floor. And, you know, you look at the meat content in these dried foods and it's like 4%. Considering our dogs are carnivores, they need 100% meat in their diet.
Yeah.
So 4%, I started thinking, well, how's a dog supposed to function properly, feel good on this diet, with 4% meat in there? And it wasn't just that, you know, I started looking into the EC preservatives that go into these foods, which are only added by pet food manufacturers to preserve the shelf life of the product so they make more profit. They don't put it in there for the health of your dog. They don't care about the health of your dog. They care about their profits. And EC additives are a range of can be anything up to 4,000 different chemicals. So, and then they're adding sugar, and sugar makes dogs very hyper, makes them aggressive, just gives them completely the wrong energy. You know, why do you need to put sugar in dogs' food? They just don't need it. So yeah, it just started shocking me really once I learnt what was going in these foods and really started linking them to behaviour. Started getting my clients to start swapping their dried mix for more natural raw meat on the bone, and seeing complete and utter change in behaviour within a matter of 3 or 4 weeks.